Okay. Oh, we have a lot of light behind us. Let's see if this is gonna work. I'm dark. Give me 1 second. Okay, that's better. Okay. Oh, we have a lot of light behind us. We hear us double because the YouTube went on. I was inside I broke the camera. It doesn't stay. I didn't break it though. Okay.
Oh my goodness, this is bad. Keren.
I know, but look, you can't see me because I'm in the light. Okay, let's try to move a little bit.
You're going real fancy on me.
It's called recording. I mean, soon it's going to be on television. You know? Okay. Anybody knows this book? Rabbi Mizrahi speaks. Amazing book. She actually signed it for me. She dedicated it to me. This is not the other book. Where's the other book? So Zera Shimshon has a pirush on various topics. We started talking in regards to the parsha. This is the Torah. He has now. This is called Nachman Stelz's book. It's not the Zera Shimshon. Actually, he wrote the English interpretation. Zera Shimshon is a Hebrew book, and it's quite popular because it brings a lot of segulot. Right? It's in Yan to learn it. It says that Zera Shimshon did not have descendant, or did he have? And he passed away.
He had a son.
His son passed away, and he said anybody who will learn his Torah, it'll be a big zchut for him, and he'll be zoche to many yeshuot, and he'll pray. He says the whole thing, how he'll pray for them, and he'll be zoche to bring about many good things for that person. So we're going to dedicate today's shir for my father. Please let's have in mind, Fuash Lema. Father just had a stent done, and he might need surgery. But B'ezrat Hashem, he's not going to need. Hashem is going to give him a Refuah Shalema. So Shimon ben Rivka, Avihu Mori Shimon ben Rivka, שבעזרת השם אין רפואה שלמה, רפואת הנפש, בוא תבוא בתוך שעה חולה עמו ישראל. רפואה שלמה to my grandmother, Baruch Hashem, who's alive and well, Shtia B'yad 120, who lives here in Rishon. That's one of the reasons I wanted to make Aliyah, is because I wanted to be close to my grandma. She's like my second mom. She brought me up. So רפואה שלמה for Rivka bat Chasiba. And for my daughter, לידה קלה בשעה טובה מוצלחת כתרנגולת. בעזרת השם, so they say in Hebrew, ידיים מלאות, בעזרת השם, פרידה בת-קרן. And today or tomorrow? Tonight? Today? Which one? Last night and today is the Friedricher of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe. He was released from jail. So it's the day of his release, the day of Yeshua for Am Yisrael, Yud Bet Tammuz, right?
And also, I heard that the reason why it happened over a 2-day period was because it was Shabbos. And he wouldn't go out on Shabbos, so that's why it happened in Bet Yud Gimel.
Oh, wow.
They say
oh, wow. He wouldn't go out on Shabbos. Finally, he's getting out. He's not going out on Shabbos. Oh, gosh. That's just a big tzaddik, you know? So I actually I don't know if you're in my group, but I spoke about last week. I have a picture with the Lubavitcher Rebbe that my brother just sent me last week. There's a website now with AI through picture recognition. You put a picture of yourself, and it finds your picture with the Rebbe. I actually went to the Rebbe. It did not made up. And I have the dollar of the Rebbe. I'll show it to you. The dollar of the Rebbe here. That Zohar to receive from him. Wait, let's get out and show people that. Should be also a zchut today. A zchut for us, for all the chatufim. B'ezrat Hashem. Tonight also is going to be a worldwide Afashat Chala event, and Tefillah and Chizuk, a lot of speakers. Join. I'll send you the link if you don't have it. It's on my group, Living Inspired, with Keren Miller. It's a worldwide Freshest Challah event that's happening with kosher.com and forgot the other. What? Tamar Ansh, her website. What's it called? No, it's called something Challah. Taste of Challah. Okay. So she is, they're doing a big event, and it should be a zchut for the release of all our captives, B'ezrat Hashem, should bring them home safely, and the protection of all our soldiers, and the end of the war, the revelation of Hashem's Malchut in the world, and the revelation of Mashiach Tzidkenu b'chesed v'rachamim, the Geulah Shlema, the Beit HaMikdash b'chesed v'rachamim. So we are in, which parsha are we in? We did Chukas last week, right? Turning to Chukas. Balak. We are in Parshas Balak. And Parshas Balak is, there's a lot to say. One of the things that is mentioned in Parshat Balak, we know, first of all, it's interesting that the Parsha is named after Balak, because Balak wasn't such a nice person, right? He was the king of Moab, and he commanded his famous Navi, Bilam, right? The Navi of the prophets, of the Goyim, to come and to curse the Jewish people. And we know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu turned things around, and Afochu, just like the time of Purim with Haman, and the klalot became brachot. One of them is a famous bracha that we say, well, Ashkenazim say, we don't have it in our davening, at the beginning at least not. Matovu alecha Yaakov mishkenotecha Yisrael. Right? How great, how wonderful, how good are the tents of Yaakov, right? Mishkenot, the dwelling places of Yisrael. And we see that this is actually a big bracha to the Jewish people. It says that the Jewish people, their tents did not face each other, right? That there was tzniut. They didn't know what's happening in each other's houses, even though they lived very close to each other. The Ohalim were very close. And that was a credit to the Jewish people that they were acting b'tzniut. And here he says, as Shimshon brings this down, and he talks about why wasn't it sufficient for this pasuk to say, Tovu ohalecha Yaakov? Why does it say ma tovu? What's this ma tovu? Oh, how goodly, right? Amalot tov, right? It's good. And you have an answer, Avi? Avi knows? What do you say? Oh. So we have a guest here, Liza's son. It's Avi. He's joining us somewhere. There's no men here watching us. They don't know. They don't see what's going on here, So here we turn to the secret of the mezuzah, right? Every doorpost, every Jewish home has a mezuzah. And the mezuzah is like the symbol of the Jewish home, right? You see a mezuzah, that's a Jewish home. It's a protection for the Jewish home. It's a reminder for the people in the home that there's shmirah. On the outside of it, there's the Shem Shakai. We don't say the actual name, Shin and Dalet and Yud, right? Shomer Daltot Yisrael. Hashem is the protector of the doors, of the openings of Yisrael. And inside we have the Parshiot, right, of the Shema, the Parshiot, to remind us of our connection to the Borei Olam. And here he says, why do we say this? Ma tovu alecha. And what's its connection? Its connection is to the word mezuzot. And the letters of the words of mezuzot can be read as zaz, mavet, chas v'shalom. Mem zayin, vav zayin, taf. Zaz, mem vav taf, which is mavet, chas v'shalom, right? Which means death has moved from this home. It's brought down by the Zohar. In addition, the Mekubalim point out that the gematria of the four-letter Zayin, Vav, they're sandwiched between the initial letters of Mem and Taf, right, at the end of the word. And that equals actually 26. The letters in the middle, they equal 26, which is a numerical value of what? The Yud K, Vav K, the name of Hashem. Yeah. And this is also hinted in the Zohar, where it says, write my name on your doorpost. Hashem tells us to write his name on a doorpost, implying that it's the name of Hashem that actually keeps the death away. Right? And we know that actually from the story of Pesach, when the Jewish people left, right? Before the Jewish people left, the last plague, Makat Bechorot, before the last plague, they were commanded to go and to make a siman on the door, right? Actually was a siman of blood, right? From the Korban Pesach. And that siman will be a mebalbel et satan. He will confuse the satan, because when the satan is coming to be mashchit, it says he's not able to distinguish between one person and another. But if he sees blood, that's a symbol, perhaps, that there's maybe death right there. So he'll skip over that. But really, it's a protection from Hashem. That Hashem pasach, right? Passed over and didn't allow the mashchit to come and to destroy them. So the Gemara teaches that a shul actually does not need a mezuzah. And why is that? He says there's no need to distance death from a place that it avoids anyway, because we know that shuls are not places of death, Baruch Hashem. They're places of chaim, right? Torat chaim hi. The Torah is considered compared to life. Eit chaim hi, right? Lamach azikim, by those who hold on to her. It's like a tree of life, the Torah. And the Zera Shimshon explains, this is what the Torah is telling us. Matovu ohalecha Yaakov. How goodly are your tents, Yaakov. Ma tovu, the gematria of ma tovu is 66. Ma is actually 45. Tovu is 9. 9 and 6, and 6 and 6 is 12, is 18. And bet is 18 and 2 is 20. Together 66. So ma tovu alecha Yaakov. So equaling, the gematria of ma tovu plus the number of the two words, actually words themselves, we consider the kolel, inclusive, is 68, which is the same numerical value as the word chaim. It's chaim here, right? From here we see that Yaakov's tents, the dwelling places of the Jewish people, where on the doorways, right? Hashem's name is on the doorway. Klal Yisrael have fixed these mezuzot, they're places of life, and that those very mezuzot separate them from death, because it's a place of chaim. So that is the place that's reserved for chaim, for chiyut, for life. When we learn Torah, it brings us chiyut. It says that Hashem gave us the yetzer hara, right? Natati lo yetzer hara, barati lo yetzer hara, barati lo Torah tavlin. I gave him the antidote. I gave the Torah, but I gave also the antidote to be able to fix, right? The yetzer hara, the things that sway us away. We said the machti, the one that we miss the mark, to be chotet, to miss the mark. When we go, we miss the mark. We're not close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We don't do the will of Hashem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, don't worry, I gave you the antidote. I gave you the medicine. I gave you Torah, right? Torah is our medicine. Torah brings us refuah. It says if a person can't go to sleep, you should learn Torah, right? You should look at the words of the Tehillim. You should read Tehillim. It helps him. Not that it'll make him fall asleep because he'll be so bored learning it, but it'll give him, right? It'll help him busy his mind with the good things to give him the ability to learn. Also, a person that has a headache, you should learn Torah. It helps to bring a refuah to him. Many things, right? The Torah is like a drug, a good drug, right? It puts us on a high. When a person learns Torah, right? When you go to a shir, you hear inspiration, not mine, but other shir, and I'm biased. Then you're able to get inspired, right? You come home, you're on a high. My husband says, can you go out again? Go to the shir again. He goes, you always come back in a good mood. He goes, how come you're not in a good mood with me all the time in the house? I'm like, because we have to learn Torah, right? I said, you're always teaching your Talmidim. My husband's on Zoom every night. He teaches his Talmidim in Chutz La'aretz. I'm like, if you teach me Torah, then maybe, I'll be in a good mood like that here also. So that's what it tells us. And this is also why the pasuk refers to who? Matovu alecha Yaakov. Yaakov ish tam yoshev alim. He was the one who sat and learned, right? Yeshiva Shem Ve'ever, the first yeshiva. That's where Yaakov learned, right? And this is the midah also. It's alluding to who Yaakov was. Yaakov had the midah of, Titan M blank to Yaakov. What do you have to give to Yaakov? Titan Emet, right? Emes. Torah Moshe Emes v'Torah so Emes, right? Torah to emet. Emet is truth, right? Emet is actually the midah of the combination of the two midot of Avraham and of Yitzchak. Avram represented chesed. Yitzchak represented gevura. Yeah? You have a question, Shana? Comment, tell us what you're saying. I want to hear.
No, but I didn't know that was a children's song. And then I worked in a gown and she was singing that.
Of course, we sing all the Torah songs. When kids are young, that's what we think to them, the Torah songs. That's why it says, interesting that you're saying that.
Yeah.
It says, Ashma beni musar avicha ve'al titosh torat imecha. Why doesn't it say the opposite? Isn't the father in charge of teaching his son Torah? And the mother is the one who gives mussar, right? She's home all day long. Don't go there. Don't do that. Don't, right? You have to listen to your mother, right? She gives them the mussar. It says the opposite. Because you're more able to do that, we have to make sure the opposite, that we respect the opposite. So it says, so kabed et vicha et bet imecha. And it says, avich, how does it say? Et imecha ve'avicha tira. Something. Okay. So it's the opposite. A yira, right, is usually common to the father, but you have to have yira for your mother. So it says the opposite first. But kaved et avicha ve'et imecha, because you're going to honor your mom, because she's always with you. You have to be careful also to honor your father. It switches the order there. But here it says, Shema beni musar avicha, right? Because the mama, she's the first one to say the first words to the child, right? The mama lashon, right? The mother tells the child every night when he goes to sleep, even when he's born, right? The Shema Yisrael. You know the story of famous story of a man who went to save the Jews from the monasteries. Right? There were Jews that were taken and put in monasteries. And he went and said, how are you going to recognize the Jews versus the non-Jewish kids that are there? He came, and who was it? I forgot the name.
Rabbi Silver.
Rabbi Silver. What's his first name?
That's in Cincinnati.
What?
I don't know.
Rabbi Laser Silver, right? And he said, he started saying, he came to the orphanage or whatever, the monastery, and he said, Shema Yisrael, and all the kids picked up their hands that were Jewish and put it on their eyes, and they ran towards him. And because this is what they used to hearing, even when they were little kids, even before they learned to talk. So this is why we teach kids words of Torah, right? First thing, you teach a kid this concept, these words of Torah. So in any case, so we talked about the midot. Midah of Avraham was chesed. Midah of Yitzchak was gevura. And the combination, the synthesis of chesed and gevura is Yaakov. That's us, Yisrael. That we have to make sure of chesed and gevura. You can't have too much chesed. You can't be a shmata and just be giving, right? You have to have gevura. It has to be within limit, right? Within discipline. Right? And you can't just be a disciplinarian in your house. You have to also be kind. You can't just be like a totalitarian, right? We think we are, but you have to also be kind. You have to do it with chesed. And the synthesis of that is tiferes. Tiferes is really the midah of emet, the midah of truth. So Yaakov is the midah of truth. Grant truth to Yaakov. Titen emet leYaakov in Sefer Micha we're told. So the word of truth can be broken down into two words, Aleph and Memtaf, Met. Aleph and Met. And the letter Aleph is built of three letters. The letter Aleph, we see a Yud, a Vav, and a Yud, which equals 26, which is the name of Hashem, right? So there's this Yud on top, Vav in the middle, and the Yud on the bottom. The gematria of the three letters is 26 of Hashem's name. And this means that through the name of Hashem, Emet, right? When Emet occurs, indeed it says the seal of Hashem is Emet. Right, we're told the seal of Hashem is Emet. And as the Gemara says that the truth endures while falsehood always fails. Right? Sheker en lo raglaim. Somebody tells you sheker, it's never going to stand. because you look at the letters of Aleph, Mem, Tet, they each have a base. They each have two legs. Aleph, we spell it like this, but right, in the Torah, it's standing on 2 legs. Mem, it's also on 2 legs. And Taf, it's 2 legs. So it has stability. But Sheker, each one of those letters, Shin, Kuf, Resh, it's 1 line. Sheker en lo raglayim, doesn't have the ability to stand, to have stability. And this is the koach of saying truth. Hashem is the seal of truth. The person wants to say truth, that's what's going to be standing. And this is why Yaakov Avinu, who's midah of emet, says Yaakov lo met. Yaakov didn't die. Instead, his neshama went up to Shemayim without experiencing the death. The Gemara Tainus brings this down. And this is what Matovu is conveying to us. But going back to the beginning of Zera Shimshon, why does it have to say Matovu, right? It hints at the idea of the mezuzah that we spoke about, which we hang on the entrance of our doorposts at our homes, and which contains the name of Hashem. And that gives us the power of Yaakov Avinu, with the potential to keep death away from us, by having truth, by having emet. And that's why it's so important what we speak in our houses, how we speak, to say truth, teach our children to say the truth, right? I forgot who I heard saying this, but maybe it was Rabbi Brizak. It's like you tell a kid to say the truth, right? Say the truth. You have to say the truth. You have to say emes. You can't lie. And then somebody calls the house and says, tell him I'm not here. Right? The child answers the phone, you tell him Ima's not home. That's what you're doing. You want the kid to say the truth? You got to say the truth too. How do you teach kids? Not by telling them what to do, by showing them, by acting it, right? So if we want the truth to reign, we have to act with emes. We have to act with truth in the way we conduct ourselves, even in the small little things, silly things like tell them that we're not home, right? We have to say truth. We have to present that truth. Something else that came to me. Do you mind stopping that? See in my head. Something else that came to me now, I can't remember. So emes is the symbol of what a Jew is, right? Because when we honor the truth, then we allow the Torah to reign. Because the Torah is emet, Moshe emet, Torah emet. And we see that in the previous week's parsha, Korach, right? It says that Korach and his whole Edah got swallowed up by the earth. How could it be? Korach, he was a Levi. He was a Talmid Chacham. What's going on? Because Korach riled up all the people, especially the heads of the Shvatim, right? Chashava people, Nesiim. And he told them an untruth. He told them to go against the one who represents emes, the one who represents Torah. And if such a thing happens, it cannot have any place in this world. It says that it's somebody who runs after kavod, after kin'ah, right? He's jealous, right? A kin'ah v'te'ava v'kavod, desire, a kin'ah, jealousy, desire, and honor takes a person away from this world. There's no place for him in this world. And it says that once somebody, in the Gemara says that they passed a certain place, and they would hear from underneath the ground, Moshe emet v'torato emet. So that's what Korach and his Edah are still saying, screaming out, because now they're sort of doing tshuva, right? For that which they didn't stand for. And so we have to be very, very careful to speak the truth and to bring truth to its glory, because we are the emissaries of truth, right? We are the ones who are learning Torah or keeping Torah. And a lot today in the news, unfortunately, there's a lot of propaganda, a lot of false things happening, right, in the news, and we don't have to worry about them. As long as we are keeping to truth and doing what's true, which is serving Hashem, we're making a kiddush Hashem. The minute chas v'shalom person does an avera or does something, talks a way that's not nice, right, or b'shmutz somebody else, he's swaying away from what the Torah is, and then he's sort of not representing not being an emissary of truth. And so that's what we have to worry about. And we see our chayalim, how they're conducting themselves with such emes, right? With such truth. To be merachem, even on those civilians, of the people who kill us. Because the rachmanim, it says, B'nai Yisrael rachmanim baishanim gomlei chasadim. And that's our midot, because that's who we represent emes. We represent the truth. We're not out to kill. It says, B'nfol oivecha al tismach. The end of Pesach, when we celebrate going out of Mitzrayim, right? Yetziat Mitzrayim, the Kriyat Yam Suf, we say Hallel, but it's not a full Hallel like we say at the beginning of Pesach. How come? Right? And even there are parts in the Haggadah that we say and we don't raise the cup. We take the Ka'ara away, right? Because it says, B'nfol oivecha al tismach. Even though your enemies are being destroyed, you shouldn't rejoice. Not like, you get what you deserve, right? Kids do that, right? But that's not what we do. As a child, he doesn't understand. But that's up to Hashem. A person has to know Hashem rules the world, and Hashem is the Dayan. The Dayan, it says, what do we say when a person passes away? Baruch Dayan Ha'emet. Hashem is the God of truth. He's the judge of truth. And truth will reign in the world. And when do we see that? When a person passes. Because you think, this person was so good, or this person wasn't. You think you're judging. You don't know. His time was over. He fulfilled this tafkid. It's up to the Borei Olam. It says, Latid Lavo will be able to look at a death and something sad and say, Baruch Hatov Ha'Mitiv. That Hashem is truly kind and always does kindness. How can you say that? Because we'll see how that person passing was for him to fulfill his tafkid. That he now is able to get all the schuyot in Shamayim. Nobody lives for the reward in this world. They live for the Atid Lavo. And there was somebody, I don't remember if she heard my shir or I heard her speaking in a shir, I don't remember what it was, and she said, and when she realized that, she's started learning more Torah. Because she knows everything that she's learning is a schut for her mom, who passed away. And that really her passing is I think it was Lori Plotnick, that's what's coming up for me. And she said when she passed, it was like, how could I lose a mom, right? I lose my mom, or maybe it was her dad, I don't remember. But she said that it was like, oh, wait, this is not it. This is the be-all and end-all. The passing is not it, it's finished. No, this is just the beginning of our ancestors being able to get the schuyot that they deserve. We don't want to live forever in this world. This world is olam hasheker. You understand? So this is the koach that a person has in representing truth and speaking the truth and in bringing truth to fruition. And really, we're carrying the trademark, the flag of truth by doing that of Moshe Rabbeinu. Another thing that it says in this week's parsha, Et asher tevarech mevorach v'asher ta'or yu'ar. Those that you will bless are blessed, and those who you'll curse shall be cursed. Why does the pasuk switch from the present tense to the future tense? Yu'ar, right? Mevorach and yu'ar. Mevorach are blessed. You will be cursed. The yud is representative of Latid. Those of you who remember Dikduk. Those of you who don't want to remember Dikduk. Right? The yud is Atid. So why is it switched? When Moshe Rabbeinu first meets HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he asks him, how is he going to be able to convince the Jewish people that he is the one that has been sent by Hashem to lead them out of Mitzrayim, and that he should use, what should he use as a sign? Right? That's what he asked Hashem. He wants a sign that the Jewish people will know Moshe is the emissary of Hashem. And Hashem instructs him to put his hand into his cloak, right? To put his hand inside his garment, and he put his hand into his bosom, and what did he withdraw? He withdrew his hand, and what happened? Sarat, right? His hand was leprous like snow, it says. And Rashi points out that when it came to healing his hand, the Torah writes he withdrew it from his cloak and had become again like the rest of his flesh. which implies that it had already been healed even before he removed it from his cloak, from his garment. Rashi explains that the reason this occurred is because Besorot Tovot, good tidings, come faster than not such good ones, than bad ones. And therefore Hashem gave him the tzarat only after he removed his hand. But he healed it before he even took his hand out, right? When the time for Hashem to restore his hand, his original time, he was healthy already, it was much faster. And the same is going on here. The Zera Shimshon is pointing out that when it comes to giving someone a bracha, in this case, this is Bilam, right? Bilam the Rasha, he was the Navi of the Goyim, right? In the case when Bilam blessed the Jews, the bracha occurred right away, immediately, right? Mevorach in the present tense. However, when the Torah is referring to Bilam cursing the Jews, it says you are in the future tense, if the curse will happen in the future. And that's why the pasuk switches from the present to the future. Yeah, I was just going to say, it sounds like Avram's blessing. Avram says, HaMevorach Avarechecha, I will bless you, because it's talking about the future descendants. Not only you now, but all your future descendants in the future will be blessed. It says, Ata lecha kavali oto. Now go and curse it for me. But Bilam had this conversation with Hashem, explaining that Balak hired him, right? Where did he come to curse? Didn't come from him. Came from his master. That Balak hired him to go curse them for me. So Rashi understands from this pasuk that Bilam hated the Jewish people even more than Balak hated the Jewish people. When Balak originally hired Bilam for the job, he told him, go curse Ara, the nation, for me. And here it says the word kava, a different word, right? Ara is the term for a curse, but Bilam changed it to the word kava, right? Which is a type of curse that's penetrating and specific, right? And which is much worse than the word ara, like arul, right? The word arul with an aleph. So this shows that Bilam was a great enemy of the Jewish people, and that more than Balak. And the man who hired him to curse them, who was the man who cursed them the first, he wanted to curse them first, but Bilam was even worse. However, in the next parak, Balak says to Bilam, I took you to curse my enemies, using the words lakov, right? The same word kov, kava, kov. So from here it says that Balak and Bilam were really on the same page when it came to cursing the Jews, in terms of both of them hating the Jews with an equal passion. It says Habala orgacha hakdem leorgo. Right? Somebody who comes to kill you, you should be magdim and go kill him. How are you allowed to kill somebody? Because he's coming to kill you. He's not coming to, he's not doing you favors, right? And so there's an Indian not to speak Lashon Hara. But not to speak Lashon Hara about somebody who's coming to curse you, that's not a problem. It's not Lashon Hara, right? You have to be careful. You have to protect. You have to tell the Jewish people. The Zera Shimshon explains that exactly what Balak was saying to Bilam. Why did I call you to do the job? I can also curse the Jewish people, but I called you to go and curse them. Why? He says, I hate the Jews because I'm scared of them. You hate the Jews because you hate them, right? Your hatred is pure hate. Authentic hatred with no ulterior motives. I hired you to do the job because I know you hate the Jewish people much more than I do. And I know that you are the one doing the cursing. You will use a curse with the power of kava, the word kava, which is harsher. And he says,
is it kuf beis hey?
Kuf vet hey, yeah. No, kuf vet hey.
Vav or vet?
Vet. Yeah, kuvete, not vav. So kava, you even gave them a bracha, he says. What happened to all the hate that you profess to having? Right? You're the enemy. Why'd you curse them? Why'd you curse them with the worst one? So that's why it's saying the word atalecha kavali oto. And here we see this is the koach that really says there's a rega, there's a time that that's what Bilam said actually in the parsha. I remember the pasuk that is a sort of set to bring about bad things to the Jewish people. There's a time in the day, and Bilam knew sort of that time in the day. He calculated when to go and curse them, but we know that Hashem is he is the one who's in charge. Eno malvado, and he was able to change the words that Bilam said should change to a bracha, that it shouldn't come out as a curse. And so we have to realize, though, from this, the koach that we have with our mouth. It says that the peh has two fences, right? It has the tongue. It's really the tongue. The tongue has two fences. And the tongue is what helps us to speak, right? A person without a tongue, it's hard for him to speak. He's like mumbly. The tongue has two barriers. It has the teeth and it has the lips. Because it's not enough. As Hashem said, I created 2 eyes, I created 2 nostrils, 2 ears. Chas v'shalom, if I create 2 tongues, it says, oy vavoy, what destruction there would have been to the world. Imagine what 1 tongue could do, right? And that's why the tongue has 2 barriers to stop you, right? You should bite your tongue, right? Bite your tongue, it says, right? The English people say that, bite your tongue. That you should be careful not to say something. And it should be a reminder to hold yourself back, to protect yourself from saying things. And when a person says something, really it's coming from a thought. That our speech is not just created stam. We don't babble things. We don't say things. It's coming from a machshava. Somebody wronged you, right? Somebody said something nice to you. So what do? You retaliate. Like kids when they're fighting, right? You're this, right? Oh, you did this to me. You're this, right? They call them a name, right? You're such a this. Because you did this, you did that, right? They did something, and they caused that person ill will, and so the person feels like they have to retaliate and get them back. And really, we're the same thing. We're like the kids. And sometimes somebody wrongs us and said something to us, right? And we might say something back because we felt wrong. So instead, we have to stop and think, what are you feeling right now? What's my feeling right now? Right now, I'm feeling lousy. I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling embarrassed, I'm feeling whatever the feeling is. Acknowledge the feeling, give yourself, this is in coaching, we do this, right? Give yourself acknowledgement to show that you're chashuv, you're important. It's not okay for you, somebody to say these things to you, right? You need to acknowledge it for yourself. You need to feel like you're something, you matter, to Hashem, you're great, right? And then maybe you'll be able to think about how you want to react, what you want to say, or what you don't want to say, because you're just going to cause more ill will. What's going to happen now if I say these things, right? And then give yourself a positive message and compliment yourself. I'm okay. Sometimes putting your hand on your heart, right? Sometimes giving yourself compassion and say, I matter. I'm important. Hashem loves me, right? It's okay. What that person said is not really the truth. Hashem, Kadosh Baruch Hu Evuti, right? And I love Hashem, and it's okay. And that person's hurting, and then you can interpret what happened and realize, wait a minute, it's not me, it's him or it's her, and then you realize, oh, they must have had a bad day at work, or right, or something bad must have happened, or somebody hurt them, and so they're lashing out, and it's not really them. So we judge favorably. And really, this is the koach of this month. Tammuz, leading up to Av. Tammuz is the I think we talked about this, the function of Tammuz, the body part of Tammuz is the eye. The eye sees. How we look at things, how we perceive things is very, very important. We see the meraglim, they perceive things as bad, right? And they came back and they spoke diba al haaretz, they spoke lashon hara, and as a result, we're still here crying. We're still here mourning. We still don't have the Bet HaMikdash. It says, you cried a cry for no reason. I will give you a reason to cry, Hashem says, right? And so we have this month to be metaken, that Shivasar B'Tammuz. So it's actually interesting because it relates to what we started with. Because the Torah tells us that, so I wanted to finish with Av. Av is the power of Shmi'ah. There's Re'iyah and Shmi'ah. That in Eicha, it says the Nun Samech, Ayin, Pei, right? In Eicha, the Pei and the Ayin are interchanged. The Pei comes first. Why? Because the Meraglim spoke badly, right? Because they saw something and they spoke badly, and we have to fix that. We have to be able to speak positively, right? To see things in a positive way, and as a result, speak positively. And that's why it starts with what we see, how we envision and how we perceive something, right? There's a lot of different words in the Torah about seeing. There's re'iyah, which actually could be interchanged with yira, to have fear, to have awe, right? How we look at things, to be in awe, as opposed to looking down at something. There's habata, looking over from somewhere, or hashkafa, lashkif, right? Litzpot, right? These are different words that represent a different type of seeing. How we see something is what we're perceiving, what we're seeing it, how we imagine it in our eyes, in our mind. Sorry, it's not just what we see with our eyes. So if you look at a person and you see how they look, right, and you're just judging them by the exterior, right? It says tochob kebaro. A person should be like the outside should be like the inside, but sometimes people feel lousy. They don't feel good on the outside, and they're not smiling. Where's your smile? He's not smiling, right? Because you don't feel like smiling. I had a bad day. So I heard from Rebbetzin Youngreis that somebody asked her, Rebbetzin, where does your smile begin? I think I told you this. Where does your smile begin? Alas Shalom, Rebbetzin asked her Youngreis. And she says, Mamala, with her sweet voice. She said, that's a great question. She said, your smile has to begin on the outside. Because on the inside, nobody's smiling all the time. Everybody has tudas. Everyone has problems. Everyone has issues. But she says the smile, your outside, your face is Rishus Harabim. Your face is public property. What do you mean? It's mine. But everyone sees it. Your smile has to begin on the outside. Why you have to make everybody, I think it's Miller said this also. Why you have to make everyone miserable? Because you're feeling miserable. Smile. And guess what? Maybe you'll feel good also if you smile. It's contagious. So a person has to smile on the outside. And then it says, Achare peulotav ba'ot haregashot. I forgot the exact terminology, right? After the actions comes the feelings. You might say, I don't feel like it. Well, guess what? Act like it, and then you'll feel like it. When a person acts in a way that represents positivity, when a person acts in a way that represents seeing good, when we look at things to see the good, then we end up feeling good, and then we will manifest good. This whole word manifesting, it's really true. That when we see good in someone, we make them feel good also, and we feel good about ourselves. And that's what we have to do now, ladies. This is a time, this month, the month of Tammuz. I was going to say, what does it relate to Torah? Really, this month, which is Shivasar B'Tammuz, is the day of fasting, the beginning of the Poranut, of the 3 weeks, right? The destruction of the Bet HaMikdash. Really, what was it supposed to be? What happened on Shivasar B'Tammuz? Moshe came down with the Luchot, and then he dropped them, right? Because at the beginning of time, there was another sin that happened, that the Jewish people said, you have to leave. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to wrap this up. But you can leave if you have to leave. I don't want to keep you. Thank you for coming. You're the best. So this is a Deuteronomy that we're giving the share, by the way. Let me just finish this point. Listen to this point. That this month was really initially meant to be the month of receiving of the Luchot, Torah, which is what we started with. And what happened? Moshe broke the Luchos because Bnei Yisrael were sinning. Had to go back up to get the second Luchot. Only was forgiven on Yom Kippur. So we have this time also. It was already mesugal for bad things because when Moshe broke the Luchos, but we had the potential. The potential for Torah was in this month. To guess what we have to do this month? We have to up our Torah learning. Moshe emet, v'torato emet. We have to understand that Torah is what lifts us. Torah is what elevates us. When you don't feel good, open up, as Zera Shimshon. Open a shir, right? From Keren, whatever her name is. Listen to some chizuk on the Torah, the Kol HaLashon line, the Torah anytime, because that's going to give us chiyut. And this is what we have to teach our kids. If you don't feel good, they think, I learned so much today, I don't feel good. No, because I didn't understand it, but that's what you should learn. Because it'll make you feel even better. Because the more you learn, afoch ba v'afoch ba, tekula ba. Everything is in the Torah. Refuah, Hatzlacha, Bracha, Simcha, everything is in the Torah. Kula ba, everything's in it. Hakol. And that's why when a person connects with Torah, and that's why our homes should push our husbands to learn Torah, push our children to learn Torah. They can work a little bit, okay, it's okay. But Torah is the ikar. When we do that, we bring emet to our house. We bring shmira to our house. We bring simcha to our house. And Bezrat Hashem, we should be zocha, that we should see good, we should speak good, and as a result, we should hear Besorot Tovot Bekarov with the Mashiach Tzidkenu B'chesed B'rachamim and the Bet HaMikdash B'chesed B'rachim Bekarov. Amen. Thank you for staying. I know you have to leave.
One very quick thing. So we did this also for the Nishmat, a sweet old neighbor of mine who was like, he lived with us for 10 years and he moved to an old age home, but we were very involved. He was
The Ilui Nishmat, Gedalia Ben Sarah.
But his thing, whenever you would go, he would always be smiling. And I'm not just saying that, you hear people say that.
Wow.
He really was, and he used to speak in Yiddish, and he said, "Tries good, sounds good. Think good, it'll be good."
Wow.
Every time he hears me, "Tries good, sounds good." Right? Think good, and it'll be good.
Yeah, it will be. As I say, it is good. You have to believe that it is good.
In fact, that was his thing.
Yeah.
That's really special.
Thank you, ladies, for joining.